Cam the Camaro, or hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to make things happen. I mean, you guys already saw by the title, so you know exactly what's going to happen in today's video. But before I get into that, I do have to share some exciting news. So ever since I started this channel, there have been so many requests from you that you guys want to see the behind the scenes of what goes into making the video, what my thought process is when it goes to editing, filming, what my job is, what I do on my daily basis, what my interests and hobbies are outside of cars. And I honestly did think about making those videos, but not on this channel. It's not going to work because honestly, some people that come here really don't care about me, about my life. They only care about what my current projects are, me modding the car, and I completely understand that. But for those of you that have been asking for that, I have created a Patreon so you can have all of that content right there, which is honestly so exciting that I can share more of me. So me as Doris, not me as Woman.Driven. That's where you're going to get on those videos. And I already know some of you are going to be asking this question: will Chris be in those videos? Well, all I have to say to that is he is a part of my daily life, so. But with that being said, let's get back to business, exactly why you guys are here. So just as you saw in the title, today I am saying goodbye to my Shelby GT350 engine, but it's not like you guys think. I finally settled on a shop, which is so exciting. So it's time to assemble this engine and then get it shipped off to them. And then after that, once it's in their hands, they're gonna repair it, and then it's just the waiting game, which of course I am by no means going to rush them. I want everything to get done right. But today we need to assemble this to get it going. So right now I have the short block here on the engine stand, which by the way, Chris did have to help me because this is a little bit too heavy for me to put it here, but we're going to be assembling it. Now, it's not going to be everything. So not all of the parts, in fact, like not even the majority of the parts are going to be assembled, just because I'm only going to send them what they need, and because I'm pretty much going to be replacing all of the other parts that I won't be putting in here, but I'll show you as I go. After we have the engine assembled, then it's time to put it here in the engine cradle, and then this is going to go on a pallet inside a box, and then we can ship it off to the shop. Now, I still don't have the pallet or the box, but for now, let's get this going for today. So to start off, I'll be putting the crankshaft here, the main bearings, and the main caps. And by the way, I'm not going to be torquing things to spec because it's not going to go inside the car. I'm just going to be hand tightening them as much as I can, and in the right order this time. So once I'm done with that, we can flip the engine upright, and then I'll see you guys then. Alright, so now that's done, I have the crankshaft, I have the main bearings and the main caps, the bolts, as well as the side bolts, and it was pretty simple, very easy, there's not much to it. And the only thing I kind of struggled with was just getting these main caps all the way down. I'm not sure if it's because the order that I put the bolts in, but as you guys saw, first I tried it with a rubber mallet. That really wasn't working, just because I kind of was more struggling here with these 3 in the inside. These outer ones were a bit easier just because I have more room to work with, just to kind of hammer them down. But as you guys saw, and I just went with a piece, whoa. Okay. I just ended up going with a piece of wood and then just hammering it down, and that ended up working. After that, I already know you guys saw me use a power tool, which I just ended up using this electric ratchet just to carefully put these bolts all the way down. And that I was going to be here all day and I wasn't trying to do that. But before I did that, I did make sure just to make sure that they would go in by hand, and I pretty much evened them out. Then that I ended up using the electric ratchet, I did, however, I was very careful, so I just used it very slowly and I didn't take it all the way to the bottom. Once I finished with that, then I just ended up going with this hand tool. So all the bolts are in. Like I said, I'm not going to torque them. They're just hand tight them as much as I can. So we're done with this. It's time to flip this upright. We're going to go ahead and install the heads. Now the heads, the only thing that they currently have are the valve seals. Once we have the heads on, we're going to put the head bolts, and then the cams with the cam phasers. I never ended up taking these two apart. So let's go ahead and take care of that, and I'll see you guys then. So just finished with this. We have our heads installed, we have our head bolts, we had our cam phasers, cams, cam caps with the cam bolts. Now, even though, like I mentioned before, I'm not torquing this to spec, I'm just hand tying them as much as I can. I did move the cam phasers just to make sure that there's no issues with the cams, that they're running fine, there's no binding. And even though it doesn't matter because we're not assembling this engine to go in the car right now, I'm just doing this just to get into practice, because once I do it, I want to make sure that I do everything correctly. So now that we're done with this, it's time to continue to the next step. So I'll be putting the timing cover. Even though we're not going to be timing the engine, we still need to put the timing cover. Then we need to put the valve covers, and then we're going to flip this again and put the oil pan. Now, I'm not going to be using this oil pan, but since we are going to be shipping it off and sending it up to a shop, then we want to make sure that we send it as covered as possible. Also, I won't be sending in the oil pump because they really don't need it. And either way, you guys already saw the condition of that. It's not like they can do much to it to save it. So I'll be getting a new oil pump as well. So, and by the way, if you guys see me slap the air or slap myself throughout this video, it's because there's a fly which obviously you guys are not gonna be able to see it, but there's been a fly throughout this entire engine assembly. I guess it's so intrigued by the Shelby GT350 engine that it's been kind of annoying. So just letting you guys know I'm not crazy. So we've arrived to the last and I'd say the most scariest part of this engine assembly for today. I'd say it's scary just because it's time to lift up the engine, and that always makes me a little bit nervous. But now all I need to put is the engine lift plate, and then, which is, let me show you guys, that's the engine lift plate, and then we can lift it up with the engine hoist to then add the engine cradle. So like I said, I always get nervous, but there's no other way around it, so it's got to be done. And by the way, I should have known to put something on the floor when I was putting back the oil pan, because oil slipped everywhere. But good thing is that I can just clean that up and it's not going to stain the floor. So let's go on with this last part. We have finished and the engine is on the engine cradle. I have to admit that I was so nervous. This was like the most nervous step in doing this, which is not going to be the most nervous I'll be, because I can just imagine once the engine is already built and assembled, ready to go in the car. But either way, we'll save that for another time. But for now, I was very nervous just because, once again, when I have to lift up the engine, I always think, you know, if this were to just fall, then that is it. There goes my engine, all this hard work out the door. But luckily, nothing happened. Now, I did have a few issues, a whole back and forth. I think mainly just because, honestly, guys, I was just nervous. I was sweating. My heart was beating fast. I kind of messed up a few times just thinking. I was just worrying a little bit too much, but I managed. Now, this engine cradle, you guys saw there was a lot of back and forth, lifting the engine and putting it back down. So it was easy to put it in these two bolts up front, but these, so there's one here and then there's another one on the other side. those gave me the most issues, I think mainly because the engine was kind of like at an angle. I mean, after the whole back and forth, I finally managed. So it's almost ready to go. I still need the pallet and the box. So for now, I will leave this engine lift plate here, but when I'm ready to ship it, once I have the pallet in the box, I'll remove this and I'll put the engine manifold. I'll also put the spark plug covers, which I might as well just do that right now. It's super easy. So then it'll be ready to go, guys. I know this took some time, but I just really wanted to be sure. So it's ready. So now that this is taken care of, once it's shipped, it arrives at the shop. They're going to repair the block. They're going to repair the head. They're going to install a few upgrades. No, they're going to install a lot of upgrades. They're also going to blueprint to make sure that everything is fine. And the shop that it's going to is RPG Racing Engines. And I know you guys might be wondering, what am I going to do with all this free time, all this free space here? Meanwhile, I'm waiting for my engine to get back. Well, I have a few things in mind that I've been thinking about. I can either cam the Camaro, or I can disassemble the Toyota Camry engine just to refresh it. I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can decide for me. And by the way, I am planning on doing both of those projects. I just don't know in what order. So let me know in the comments down below, which one do you guys want to see first? I'm so excited just thinking about those two, but now that we've come to the end, I'm going to leave you guys with something a little bit different. For those of you that enjoy tool sounds, tools in action, I'm going to leave you with some of that, kind of like a bit tools ASMR. So if you're into that, enjoy. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.